I remember always being more impressed when the singer had written it. It just felt more authentic,
Sure.
like they were telling their own story instead of just like singing some words.
This is Uncover the Music, the only podcast devoted to Barrie's local music scene. Presented by BarrieUncovered.ca. This is Uncover the Music, episode 2. A big thank you to the Uptown Theatre for letting us come in and record. We're actually in a theatre right now, so it's very cool. We're in the comfy chairs in Theatre 4, and we're joined by Megan Ann. Welcome, Megan Ann.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming. Have you ever recorded a podcast in a movie theatre before?
No, I almost wish this was a video because it's just, you don't often get to sit in an empty theater. I feel like this is a very nice aesthetic.
So how early on in your life was it that music grabbed you? What was the first sort of memory you have of it really making an impression on you?
Yeah, the first time I ever sang live, I was 9, and it was at a talent show. But I remember around that time looking in, when CDs would come with a little booklet of information, I would always open that, and I wanted to know who was writing the songs and who was playing on guitar on track 4 or whatever. So I just remember, and I remember my parents being like, why does this child care who's writing these songs? So I think that was kind of the indication that this is what I want to do.
So even early on, you want to know who wrote it?
Yeah, I remember always being more impressed when the singer had written it. It just felt more authentic,
Sure.
like they were telling their own story instead of just singing some words.
And then I was reading you're self-taught on piano and guitar. Is that true?
Piano and ukulele. I've tried guitar many a time, and it's just, my hands don't like it. I don't know, I've tried.
It's not your bag, as
It's
Austin
not.
Powers would say.
Yeah, I have a guitar player who plays with me all the time. His name's Russell, and he's fantastic, and he can play guitar much better than I can, so I put that down. But yeah, piano and ukulele I'm self-taught on.
Did you ever have a teacher, or did you just always teach yourself?
Well, I took, in high school, there was a keyboard class, and vocal classes would teach music theory, so that helped a lot because now I can read sheet music and play that way. But in terms of technique, it was just me figuring it out. So I don't have good technique, but it gets the job done.
But was it more appealing to you to learn on your own as opposed to having to teach? Was that part of it, or?
Gosh, it's so deep already. You're psycho analyzing. Oh no, it gets deeper. Gosh, I don't know. I think I guess for me, because then I could do it on my own time and own schedule. But then at the same time, I did study vocal lessons with a woman named Renee Chingolani, and for that, I loved having a teacher. So I guess different things, just different strategies.
So when did it start to click to you that music is more than just, I like listening to music, I like doing music, I'm going to do this full time, I want to make this a part of my life? Do you remember when you started to actually think about that? Yeah,
I mean, for as long as I can remember, it's been the goal. But I did get more serious about it towards the end of high school. I started doing more of the coffee house gigs and looking into post-secondary for music and stuff like that. And then I started gigging a lot when I hit 19. That's when I started hitting all the bar circuits. So I'm 23 now, so 4 years of gigging hardcore.
And is that how you got started? You just started going to places saying, can I play here?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, really, McLaren Art Center does a great youth coffee house. So in high school, that was one of the only options that I could find. And I went to Innisdale, so I would do stuff there as well. And then, it started out, you meet people there, and then if they need someone to fill in for them, getting gigs that way. And then I send a lot of emails to a lot of places. And I'm I see you do live music. Here's what I do. Let's try to work something out.
So you're kind of kicking around the scene and playing songs. Were you playing originals, or was it covers, or what did you play sort of early on?
It depends on the length of the gig. If it's a nice little 3-song set, I like to do maybe a cover to get people interested because they know it, and then 2 originals to fill it out. Or if it's 45 minutes of the Fox, I try to put as many originals as I can in there. And then sometimes we do 3-4 hour gigs, so that's more of a cover style. It just depends on the venue, but I love playing the original music more.
Sure. What's the first song that you wrote? Do you is that song still with you, or did it kind of get lost along the way? What's the first one you wrote?
The very first ones were when I was 9, 10, so those probably didn't even get finished, much less ever performed. The oldest one I probably wrote when I was 15, 16. and it was called You're an Addiction, and I played that a bit around. Yeah.
Is that one still with you? Is it like on Phoenix, or
It's
that's your
not,
album? We
but
talked
yeah.
earlier, but is that on Phoenix?
It's
or?
not on Phoenix, but I haven't played it live in a while. But you know what? Maybe I will, just for the story.
Yeah. And you're playing a lot of gigs now outside of Barrie. You've been playing some gigs in Toronto. How did that come up?
So I just finished a program at Seneca College in Toronto called Independent Music Production, and so from that I've gotten to know musicians in Toronto that can kind of lead me to where the better establishments are to play.
Sure. Bit of networking, really.
Yeah, some networking, and then again, just emailing places, hoping for the best, looking to see where other friends have played, because then you kind of know that it's a room you want to be in. It's just stuff like that. But yeah, I've been gigging around a lot. Like we were just we were at the Rec Room on Friday as my graduation show for college, which is in Toronto.
Yep.
And then yesterday we were in Baysville at this little brewery, and then tomorrow we're at McRiley's. So
how do you feel? Yeah. How do you feel when you're outside of Barrie? Because Barrie's your hometown, right?
Yeah.
So are you a little outside of your comfort zone when you go to like Toronto or other places? Because it's not the same, you've been playing sort of the same gigs for a number of years in Barrie, and then you go to these places you don't really know. Is that, you feeling out of your comfort zone, or is it just, music's music? And
I mean, at this point, even if it isn't Barrie, it can be awkward because you walk in and you maybe have never been in that room before, and it's just like, surprise, I'm playing, where do you want me? So it can be a little bit strange, but so far I've lucked out and have had really nice managers of places where we've been, so it's been good. For playing outside of Barrie, the only thing is I always get nervous because if I've forgotten something, or if they've double booked us or anything like that, like I can't just like be home in 15 minutes. Like we've like made an effort to get there.
Right. You can't just text somebody from home and say,
and be like, I forgot a capo. Like, so that's probably the only thing. But it's fun to see how different crowds react in different towns. It's cool.
And then when you're out of town too, people don't know you as much as maybe in Barrie. So is that better? Do you find, would you rather walk into a room full of strangers, or would you rather walk into like the Fox where you know that 50% of the crowd probably knows who you are? What do you think? Yeah,
I mean, it's half and half. I mean, when it's fun in Barrie, because you know people and you have friends there, and then they're more receptive, and I've played some stuff where my friends come and they're like singing along, and it's just very adorable and sweet. But then when you're out of town, you kind of, the best part about playing not in Barrie and not knowing anyone is if I mess up, like nobody knows. No one knows me.
It's like if you go to a play and you don't know Macbeth, if the actor completely screws it up, you don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. You're like, oh sure, sounded good.
Yeah. Maybe you get a good album out of it, right? The screw ups that you made. Right? Yeah. So in terms of growing as a musician, the support groups that you have, is it family, is it friends? Like who sort of helped you as you sort of went along the road here?
Yeah, my family has been phenomenal. They've been the perfect balance of like not being like stage parenty, but being like supportive when I need them to type of thing. I remember being like 15 and wanting to go to auditions for like YTV in Toronto, and my mom would take me and like sit with me for 12 hours. And like at the time I was like, of course a mom would do this, but like now that I'm an adult human, I'm like, wow, that's so nice that you would take me to like what you knew they weren't gonna pick me. Like there's like 8,000 kids here. So no, they've been wonderful. And even now, like they come to as many shows as they can, and they help us like load up the car, like stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very, very blessed to have them.
And do you have people that you can run things by musically? Like do you have like sort of a peer group that you can say, hey, I'm thinking of something like this. What do you think? Do you have that kind of thing?
For sure. Like a lot of the people I went to school with, I think are really talented, and I really respect their opinion. And then my guitar player and there's a drummer I work with pretty regularly. So for any original stuff, they've been really great at helping me arrange stuff. Like if I need percussion on something, they'll help me out. Or if I don't know what I want the guitar line to be, then Russell's like, well, what if we try this and this? So yeah, it's great.
And this, you went to Music Week this year.
I did.
Was that the first time you went to Music Week, or?
It's my third time.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, I volunteered at it. because then you can go for free.
You go for free.
But the only thing with that, no disrespect to anybody, but when you're wearing the volunteer shirt, you're like trying to network. You're like, hi, I'm a musician. And they just like, they're like, where can I get coffee?
Yeah.
Like type of thing.
Where directions to the next seminar.
Yeah. So then I went last year and this year just as a civilian. And it's fun. It's such a crash course in 3 days of just conferences, and there's so many shows to go to, and you're meeting so many people, and then the day after you have like a bouquet of business cards to email. But yeah, it's a really cool experience.
And it must be very refreshing too for a musician, because when you're in your native city or whatever, there's that group of musician friends. But when you go to Music Week, it's like everybody is a music head. So it's like, it's almost like you're going to university just for musicians, right?
Yeah, it's very cool for that, to just be in a room full of people that all have the same goals.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we help each other all reach it together? It's cool.
Did you end up in any famous people's parties, hotels with Bryan Adams or somebody, or any hotel parties you care to share? Or?
No, nothing that cool. I went to a party at a recording studio called Kensington Sound. And that had a lot of musicians playing and a lot of industry people milling around, and that was a fun vibe. That was a good one, yeah.
So let's talk about your EP, Phoenix. You got some very impressive producers, Jazz Feezy and Michael Jack. How did you get locked in with them? How did that happen?
So they worked on just the first track on Phoenix, which is called Stay Out All Night. So Barrie used to have a show that aired on Rogers TV called Local Live Canada. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
So I did that a few years, and it was basically like an American Idol for songwriters. So you would come in to audition with your song, and then they would pick the top 10, and they would bring us to a recording studio and then put on this big show, and people would vote, whatever. So I won it. And so I got to go in and have the song I wrote for it, Stay Out All Night, be recorded and produced by the people who worked on the show. So that was Michael and Jazz were two of the judges. So yeah, Jazz did the backing track, he produced it. So I laid down like a scratch track of the piano, and then he built up the instrumentation. So he's worked with Drake and T.I. and Boy Wonder and all these crazy cool people. And then it was mixed by Michael Jack, who was the one who's worked with like Nelly Furtado, Hilary Duff, who was like my goddess when I was like 9 and starting.
Because you're looking for who?
Be Hilary Duff.
Yeah, because you're looking at who's writing and like. Yeah.
So that was really cool getting big names on it. And then the rest of the EP was worked half with someone named Jeff Wardell, who works at a place called Your Productions in Barrie, and half with a guy named Dane, who works out of a place called Waking Life Studios in Tottenham. And they were both wonderful. And then a couple just recorded by me. So it was kind of like a mishmash of who was producing and engineering it, which is fun. I feel like when you listen, I put them in order of when I wrote them. So when you listen from beginning to end, I feel like you like can hear
the journey
my sound
of it.
change over like 2 or 3 years. So
wow.
Yeah.
So that it's linear. That's pretty rare too. I don't think people generally.
Yeah, I didn't know what order to do it, and I was like, well, some of this stuff I recorded 2 years ago, and some of it I just finished. So we'll just put it like that and hope it's sonically cohesive in the end.
And Jazz V had some very high praise for you. You said that basically your songs would match up well with Taylor Swift. So she's sort of famous.
Yeah, and that's something he said on the show. So there's a recording of it. It's proven fact.
Right.
No, Taylor Swift is someone that like I really, really admire. I think she's one of the smartest people musically and businesswoman perspective. And I remember, she was one of the first ones where I was like, wow, she's writing all of this just by herself. And then there's clips of her in the studio talking to the producer and saying what she wants. And she's really cool. So when he said that it was comparable to a Taylor Swift song, like, oh my gosh, I'll send you the clip. Like you can watch me like melt inside. It's great.
Well, I was just going to ask, because that's huge praise from a guy that knows what the hell he's talking about. So was that intimidating? Was that encouraging when you kind of felt like, when he said that, what was it?
I was just speechless. I was like, wow, thank you. Like I didn't even know how to respond to something like that, because that's like so nice. I was like, are you sure?
You almost want it on your tombstone when you go, right? Because you know how things are going to end.
I'm like, can you write that down? Can we tattoo this on my arm? Like what? Let's solidify. No. It's really, whenever anyone says anything nice about me, I'm very like, are you sure? Cool, thank you.
So let's get into one of the songs from Phoenix. We're going to hear And You. Where was this written? Was this written recently, or was this written a long time ago, or what?
This one was written probably about 1.5 years ago now. It took me about 2 months to write, which I usually write stuff in 1 or 2 days. So this one took quite a while because I just kept picking at it and uncovering what exactly I wanted to say. But this song, it's basically about someone that I was dating who I really, really, truly cared about, and was slowly discovering that maybe they didn't have that same depth to the relationship. So it's just pretty sad one, you guys. It's pretty sad. But I've heard a lot of feedback from people that this is the song they like the best. And I remember hearing the final take from the studio. This one I recorded with Dane in Tottenham at Waking Life, and being really proud of it and really liking what came together. So I was like, it was a bad situation, but at least I got a good song out of it.
Don't tell me you want me, you got me, and then hide away. Don't haunt all my night thoughts if you'll disappear in the day. Don't say that I'm not all in when you know that I am, or that I'm not interested when you know where I stay. Oh, I'm here in your sheets on your floor, watching the curve of that smile I adore. I won't always know the right thing to say, but I love how you always make me want to stay. Please say you want me to stay too. Be quiet and quiet inside this room. I love everything in this room. Your good stars and your secrets in you. Don't tell me you want to work on this if you just don't. Don't ask me what's wrong when you leave me for days on my own. Don't let me stray so far from you that I just leave. Just lie here a few more hours and hold on to me. Oh, I'm here in your sheets on your floor, watching the curve of that smile I adore. And I know that you can't always stay, but I can feel when you're backing away. Please say you wish you could stay too. Oh, be quiet and quiet inside this room. Do you love everything that you see? Oh, my heart, my secrets and me. Well, I've never met your sisters. You've never seen my bedroom. You always used to say, oh, I'm happy when I'm with you. You said I'd give all my money away just to kiss you. You said I miss you, I miss you, I miss you. Now I'm here in my bed all alone, wondering why you didn't pick up the phone. I don't know how to get back on track, but I know that you'd have to be all in for it. So please say you wish you could stay too. Be quiet and quiet inside, it's true. I love everything in this room. Oh, I swear that honestly, absolutely, really, truly, and resolutely, that I love everything in this room. Could you look me in the eyes and say that too?
And You from Megan Ann on Uncover the Music, episode 2. That's a great song. That's from your EP Phoenix. And You know, that you were talking about that song being about a relationship that, you know, is not going in the right way. You're kind of realizing that maybe the feelings aren't reciprocated.
Yeah.
Is there a common theme in your songs that is sort of an idea that you keep coming back to?
I definitely write about boys a lot. Gosh, I really just try to capture the moment of whatever I'm feeling. I feel like feelings are so transitory and impermanent that when you feel something so strongly, you're like, let's put this in words so that I can remember exactly what was going on. I like to put like little hints, like little moments that maybe if that specific person hears it, they'll know it's about them.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, is that sort of a loving thing, or is that I'm taking a dig at you? Both?
I guess depends on the song, but I liked it to be in a way that, like, if you're just listening, you won't catch it, but like if you're that person, maybe you will. So for example, I have a song called I Want You to Know, and one of the lines is I'll swiftly leave, and it was because the guy was really into Taylor Swift. So it was like, if you just hear it, you're not gonna be like, Swift, what? But for that person specifically, maybe they'll hear it and be like, hey, I liked Taylor Swift. Is this about me? So just like tiny little
psychological
things like
warfare. It's a cautionary tale.
You make
maybe.
me sound so hard.
But listen, you know, Carly Simon built an entire career on You're So Vain, and whoever that guy is out there, I mean, he's had to live with that for 50 years, you know, that he was this awful person to her, and it's out in pop culture.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a cautionary tale not to date musicians. It goes badly.
Date them, but just don't be mean to them, you know?
Make sure it's the most amicable breakup ever because you get it up on some liner note
be like,
somewhere.
we'll be friends. I really respect you. Like, that's how you have to.
So you're coming into, we're recording this sort of middle of May, and we are coming up to a really cool event called Pages, Passions, Music, and that's happening on May 26th, right? And it's full day, you're performing, and it's literally a full day music event. How did you get involved with that?
So I became friends with a band called Cardinal Street, and they work with a girl named Kat, and ran into Kat, and she had said that she puts on this fundraiser every year for a friend of hers who passed away, and it's all to raise money for RVH. And she asked me if I would want to be a part of it, and I was really honored that she would do that. I think it's a really great testament to her character that she would take something that's so upsetting and sad and turn it into this like beautiful event to like just help people and spread joy and stuff like that. So I'm really excited. I'm playing at 11 a.m. The earliest gig I've ever had. But it's going to be good, and there's a lot of other great musicians there. Cardinal Street's going to play, Kat's going to play.
Newlands are going to be there.
Newlands are going to be there. They're so fun. I'm excited to see them. So.
And it's a real testament to Barrie's music scene. Like, this is a packed ticket, and everybody performing, yourself, Newlands, Kat, they're all really good. Really, really,
yeah,
really good.
No, I'm excited to hear a lot of the people on the bill.
So tell us about Barrie's music scene. You know, you grew up here, you lived here. So in sort of, what would you say, 10 years you've been sort of aware of the music scene?
Yeah.
How do you think, it's really coming together here. There's some really, really talented people, producers coming out of the scene. How would you characterize Barrie's music scene? What would you say if people asked you to sort of describe it?
I find it like overall really inclusive. I think in arts communities it becomes easy for people to get maybe competitive, but I really don't find that in Barrie. I have a friend named Alyssa who plays in Barrie a lot. Alyssa Test Music, everyone, Google it. She's wonderful. And we find like if we find a gig opportunity or someone's looking or we've just played somewhere great, we kind of give it to each other. Or, you know, if I need someone to play, I might call Alyssa or I might call Madison Mueller, who's another musician. Like we're all very like trying to
camaraderie, right?
Yeah,
More than
it was actually Kat from Pages Passion who I ran into, and she said something about how like, you know, we all have the same goals, so we might as well just like help each other. Like there's no need for us to be competitive. We're all trying to do the same thing, so we should all get along. So I definitely find in Barrie that everyone's really nice. Like I went to the Fox does their open jam, and Aaron from the Newlands was there, and he was like, hey, are you playing? Like everyone's just really excited, which is fun.
Yeah.
It's good.
And is there a spot in Barrie that you go for sort of inspiration musically? Is there somewhere, I don't know if you want to tell us maybe, but like somewhere, you know, maybe a spot you go when you're trying to put a song together, or some spot that you really enjoy playing maybe?
Yeah, I really enjoy playing the Fox because they're big supporters of original music
Yeah.
and all different genres. So you
Yeah.
can go there on any night and who knows what you're going to get, which
Sure.
I think is exciting and fun.
And they've got open mic on Wednesday, so anybody can.
They
can go.
do, yeah. So that's good. Where else? Oh my gosh.
And the good thing too is there's so many spots now to
There's
play.
so many. I don't
you've
even
got
know where
Donnelly's,
to
you've got
start.
Mavericks, you've got Artisan, the bakery downtown. Like,
Yes.
there's lots of
that's
places
it.
to go.
It's aesthetically pleasing. I really like when you walk in and it's pretty. I don't know, you just feel good. I have a couple
And it smells
coming up
great
at
because of the bread.
Yes. I have some coming up at British Arms. They just renovated and they also looking good, you guys. Also, I mean, it's not a business, but I really just like the waterfront. Like when you're there and on a nice summer day, that inspires me to just like, when it's just packed and you see everyone having fun.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, we just have like so many good businesses. It's great.
So we're coming to the point now where we're going to uncover 5 truths about Megan Ann. You're sworn you must answer truthfully to all 5 of them. Okay, it's nothing too probing. Okay, ready? First concert that you went to?
I think it was either, they were in the same year, so it was either the Jonas Brothers or the Cheetah Girls. I don't know if you know who they are, but that was like a Disney Channel movie.
I mean,
and
I'm too
went
old
to
for
that.
it, but I know who they were.
I stand by both bands. It was a great time. Lots of bops.
Well, the Jonas say they're coming back too.
They're coming back,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to find my concert T-shirt from when I went 10 years ago because I'm going this summer, and I'm like, I should wear that. And
Absolutely.
I'm an OG fan. Yeah, it was one of those.
Okay. First person you kissed?
I was 13, and he was very nice. Leave it there.
Yeah? No
I'm not
names?
no name dropping.
Initials?
No.
Okay. Is he in one of your songs?
Nothing that made it to Phoenix. Okay. No, it was too long ago, but I did used to write songs about him.
So we might hear from him in some big way in the years to come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put a little hint in there. Put his initials in the next song title.
Look out, whoever you are. No. A movie that you were embarrassed to admit that you paid money to see, or you paid money to like download it.
Oh my gosh. These are good questions. I don't really find myself getting like embarrassed by movies that much because it's such a, to each their own. I guess Twilight. I used to be really into the Twilight franchise and not so much anymore.
Like most people, not so much anymore.
Not so much anymore. Taylor Lautner, though, was great.
Okay, yes.
He's good. Stand by that.
Okay, so Twilight, that's not bad.
Yeah.
First job you had?
First job, I used to work at Canada's Wonderland.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I was on the games team, and then I went back and did ushering in the theaters. So it was a fun summer.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Last one, if you could invite anyone to the pub, living or dead, for a drink, who would it be?
Probably either Taylor Swift or Hayley Williams from the band Paramore, because I would love to
Yeah.
work with either of them. So you just get them a little tipsy, and you're like, let's put this on the calendar.
You're thinking like a musician in every aspect, right? Who can I gig with? Who can I talk to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, you admire someone, and it's
Sure.
like, if I could work with anyone, yeah, heck yeah, I'd pick those ones.
So how can people access your music? iTunes, Spotify?
Yeah, it's all on iTunes and Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, whatever. If you type in Megan Ann or Phoenix, or you can go to meganannmusic.com, and all the links are in one spot for you.
And how about on like a website, social media? Do you have all that stuff?
Yeah, it's all Megan Ann Music, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Megan Ann, for coming here, for being on episode 2.
Thanks for having me.
Will you come back later on, maybe next year? You'll come back when you have
Yeah,
more
I don't know
things.
why I was ready. Maybe next week we'll see see if we can get the name of the first guy you kissed. Come on. Yeah, no, for sure. This was fun.
Uncover the Music is an exclusive podcast produced by barrieuncovered.ca. Subscribe to Uncover the Music on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else you get podcasts. And find out more about us at barrieuncovered.ca, on Facebook, and on Instagram. The handle is at Barrie Uncovered.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.